Hello and welcome to WorldCFMMusic. In this video, we're going to go over basic song service tips, part 2. Let's get started. Alright, so in this video, I want to share with you 3 tips that will hopefully help your song service. So, the first tip that I want to share with you is the importance of picking your songs beforehand. Now, what I mean by that is it's easy for us, just to show up to church with a few minutes of extra time, and I kind of addressed this in my previous song service tips video. But you want to give yourself ample time to be able to choose your songs for a number of reasons. You want to be able to familiarize yourself with the songs. You want to give yourself time to practice, as I mentioned in the last video. And you also want to give ample time to communicate those songs to the musicians. I know that each church functions differently when it comes to selecting sheet music. Sometimes the song leader pulls the sheet music for everyone. Sometimes the song leader shares a list, whether it's paper list, electronic, whatever the means, and they have all the musicians pull their own songs. So there's a variety of approaches, but regardless of the type of approach you have in communicating your songs, you want to make sure you have ample time to be able to get that communication to your singers and to, of course, have practice time and, of course, prayer time as well, because that's a very critical piece in your song service, in the service as a whole. You want to spend time preparing your heart and just praying for God to move. And so it's important to be prepared. There have been times where things have come up and I'm in a rush and you're just kind of frazzled when you're trying to throw a song service together, whereas if you're prepared ahead of time, things tend to flow a lot more smoothly, all right? And so that's just the first little tip I'd like to share. The second one kind of ties to the first one, and that is, if you can, have an exhaustive list of all the songs that you have. Now, if you're a smaller church, as I said in the previous video, there's nothing wrong with having a small selection of songs, say 15 to 20 songs. Again, you're welcome to use all the song tutorials if you don't have any music. Of course, if you sing in English, right, you can implement these songs into your song service. But as time passes, hopefully you're bringing in more music, and I'll share more on that in a future video. But what you want to do is build an exhaustive list, and this is more of an opinion-based thing, so take it as you wish. But what I like to do is I have a running list, and I'll give you a demonstration of what that looks like here on the screen. But the reason why I do that is I like to keep a record of every song that I sing. And my reasoning for doing that is I'm not fond of over-singing songs. It's easy for me to have a favorite song or a handful of favorite songs, and I like to sing those songs. I like to play them, they're easy to play, or I like to sing them. And so what I tend to gravitate to is to sing those songs more often than some of the other songs that are really good that we have. And so what I've done, what I've basically forced myself to do, I've gotten into the habit of, is marking down when I sing those songs. And so basically what I tried to do, we have enough songs in our song service that we can pretty much sing a song once every other month. So I try not to sing songs in consecutive months. The exception is if it's a new song. And again, I'll go over that in a future video. But what this does is it gives a balance to your song service. It keeps the songs really fresh. It doesn't have songs that are on overkill. I have experienced this in the past where we bring a song in, we really like it, we sing it like crazy, and people start to get burnt out on those songs. And so it does happen. And so just something to be aware of. Try to get an exhaustive list. The list I use, as I've shown in the demonstration, it's based off of Excel. It's just an Excel listing of all the songs. I have headers that list every month of the year. And then I have my songs organized by chord. You can organize it alphabetically if you like. I like to organize it by chord, and this is going to tie into the third tip that I'm going to share. But it just kind of helps me to know all the songs that I have. When I mark them for when I've sung them, it helps me to know, okay, we sang this in the month of May, so we sang it in July. I sang it, every other month. So I'm going to try to hold off in the month of August and save it for the month of September. Just kind of gives you an idea. Of course, there could be a wrench thrown into the mix. You have a revival. You have, a handful of consecutive services. That'll drain your selection, especially if you don't have a large selection. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, this is just something more opinion-based, if you will, just something to help you guys out to try to keep your song service fresh, all right? Now, the third tip is time saving. Now, what I mean by this is, general rule of thumb is about 3 fast songs and 2 slow songs, give or take, depending on the church, depending on, the pastor's preferences or whatnot. So one of the dangers that you can fall into is being able to pick the right songs. And so I've also mentioned this in the previous video. Some songs are far more wordy than others. Some of them, it's just one chorus and you kind of repeat it. Some other songs have, 2 to 3 verses. You add a bridge along with the repeated chorus. That song can stretch over a long amount of time. But what can happen is time passes pretty quickly. And so when you're singing a song, you start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. Even those gaps of stop time extend the time of your overall song service. So one of the things that I've really practiced is tying songs. And what I mean by that is I've developed a pattern of grouping songs that are in the same key for one, and that have the same tempo or drumming pattern or same style, if you will, for 2. And so what you can do, and there's a handful of songs that do this, is you can go use one song that has, say it's in the key of F, it has one drumming pattern, and then you can jump right into the next song without pausing.
I can't stop praising. I can't stop praising His name. I just can't stop praising His name. I just can't stop praising His name. He's the King of Kings. He's the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Gonna shout it on the street. He is Lord. He's the King of Kings. He's a
And that'll save you a few seconds of announcing the next song, of bringing the song to a close. It'll save you some extra time. And so this is just more a trick, if you will. It's something that I use pretty much every single service. I'm always tying pretty much at the most 2 songs. And usually it's for the fast songs. Sometimes I'll tie our 2 slow songs together if they fit really well. But just, something to help you guys out. Make sure, like I said before, make sure that the key ties in as the easiest way, and make sure that your tempo is exactly the same. If you're not familiar with this, I recommend practicing before you jump into this. And so just to give you a little example, one of the songs that are perennially tied together, if you will, is the song Sovereign Lord and Savior of the Nations. Those songs are always tied together. Those are actually 2 separate songs. But because the tempo is the same and because the key is the same, you can easily just tie the 2 together. And so, there's a handful of other songs out there that you can tie. But just another little tip or trick, if you will, that can really help your song service in tying together. And so going back to my second tip of having an exhaustive list of your songs is when it comes to tying your songs, if you sort your songs by chord, you're able to group all your songs a lot more easily. And then it's just a matter of identifying whether or not they're the same kind of tempo. And of course, I'm isolating fast songs for fast songs and slow songs for slow songs. You want to keep that in play as well. And so with that, those are some extra tips that I've wanted to share with you guys. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to leave a comment in the comment section below. Or you can reach out to me via email at WorldCFMMusic@gmail.com. You can also visit the website for resources. I have PDF lessons for all the music lessons that I gave for piano, drums, and guitar. And there's also the sheet music for all the Prescott songs that were sung at the 2020 Summer Prescott Conference. You're welcome to go and use those and implement those songs into your song service as well. I believe that's it we have for today. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to subscribe. You can hit the bell icon if you want to be notified of future videos. And with that, we'll see you on the next video.